should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What's happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And on the phone line is Greg Gory, who can be heard every morning as the co-host of The Woody Show on Alt 98.7 in Los Angeles. He is on Hoppe Hour. What's up, man?
What's up, Ryan? How are you, man?
I'm doing good, dude. I really love what you guys do each and every morning on the show. It's very raw radio. It can be edgy, but it always comes off genuine, you know?
Oh, thanks, Ryan. I think a lot of that can be, given an attesting to Woody's talent because he's the master of making things sound, super laid back, but at the same time, everything we do is planned.
Yeah.
So it's kind of planned chaos. A lot of times you go off what you're planning to do, and you'll have prep for weeks just sitting there like, the size of a phone book, and you don't get to any of it because that's when the magic happens if something unexpected happens, like an argument or a gold phone call that's just amazing. You go off script or whatever, not that we're scripted, but, you go off plan, I should say. But I think Woody is really the master of putting a show together. He knows how to time things out. He knows what to hit and when. He knows when to end a segment just as well as he knows how to start a segment. So it's a good team, and we love what we're doing. So it's a ton of fun.
Is there ever a point when you guys are sort of going off the script and maybe you're talking to a weird person that's on the phone line or you're having a really good bit? Is there ever a point where you guys sort of realize that you need to get back on track, or do you guys just go with it?
I would say for the most part, you just go with it. Some pretty memorable moments of the show, not currently in L.A., but, well, actually, no, I take that back. We do have a lot of people that call in that now we call them Call of Famers. So they're people that call in and they're crazy or they're hilarious or they're ultra loyal fans. One of the newest ones is Blind Dale, this blind dude who is like Rain Man of the Woody Show. He knows everything about it. So if you get a call from somebody like that, a blind guy who knows every last thing about you, he knows more about us than we know about ourselves. You're not really going to worry about getting to that Vance Joy song yet again. You're going to kind of play with what you have and just see where it takes you. So no, we don't worry about, if we're we're off track. We got, got to play Nirvana, we kind of just keep, even if it means, running over the hour, missing the stop set or being late for the hour. It's worth it just to keep people with you.
Speaking of you guys playing music on the show, do you guys ever feel sort of forced and rushed when you do these talk segments in between the songs, or does it usually work out where you get to the song at the right time,
Songs are basically, it's almost like a way to just sit back for a second and chill. It's almost like a placeholder. So you're doing a segment on the show or, a benchmark, and you need a song to kind of separate that from your next thought. So to us, the music isn't really the backbone of the show by any means. It's more like padding. We're the we're the the fragile stuff, and then the songs are like the bubble wrap. It's just it's something that you need, and it's something that if we had our way, we would play fewer songs, but. Management wants you to play a certain amount, and Woody always argues with them about that. And when we started off, I think they wanted something like 8 an hour.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. And their argument was, people need the music to get to know you. And so we're all laughing at that, saying, yeah, because you go on a first date and you bring a boombox with you, and then when you want, you meet somebody for the first time, and when you want them to really get to know you, you interrupt them and play a song. So that made it impossible. But now we're doing about, I would say, 2, 3, sometimes 4. So the music sometimes does get in the way. But, we deal with it.
Now, when you first went on the air on Alden 98.7, you guys sort of played off this joke that you guys weren't going to be there long and management was weird. How real was that, and how much of that was a bit? Because you guys have been on for 2.5 years now, and you guys are doing real well, and you're doing well in the ratings. So was that sort of a joke, or were you guys sort of having to go through adversity?
No, that was 1,000,000,000% true. We arrived in L.A. We had been separated for 5 years. We worked together in San Francisco as a show, and then 5 years went by that we hadn't worked together, and then we all met back up in L.A. Woody orchestrated the whole move, and then when we met up in L.A. With the big wigs, then we did the dinners and the drinks and all that. And once we finally got the job offer, we thought, oh my God, this is actually happening. We are actually starting the show again and doing it in L.A. So we get to L.A., and on our first day, you probably heard the story before, but we arrive and walk into the office, and, it's a glorified broom closet. I think at one point it actually was a broom closet. And all the desks were in the middle of the room. There was a tarp over all the desks, paint cans everywhere. The engineering department said, we didn't know you were coming, so our computers weren't set up. No passwords, no security cards. It was as if we just showed up, knocked on their door and said, hey, we're here. We want to do a morning show. That's how it felt to us. Like, a lot of people didn't even know we were going to be there. Then they did the whole parade us in front of the sales department, where they had every single person from the sales department gathered in a little theater inside the station. And then here walks in, now keep in mind, I don't know about Florida, but where we are at our particular headquarters in L.A., everybody is camera ready. Everybody is a model. Everybody in sales could walk the runway, right? People on Kiss FM might as well be on TV. People at My FM might as well be on TV. And then here walks Woody and Ravy and Menace and myself, these frumpy, overweight, dorky people. The three of us stood there with Woody saying not one word. Not one of us said a single word. Woody did all the talking. We looked like deer in headlights, and the sales department was looking at us thinking, we have to sell these clowns? Like, what are they doing here? Who are these slobs that have no clue what's going on? So we thought, oh man, this is going to be a short-lived experiment. We all moved to L.A., either sold houses or, terminated leases, quit jobs, and then we all met up in L.A. And then after about a week or two, we're like, oh, damn it, what have we done? This is not going to work. And then fast forward, I don't know, about a year and a half is when you could really start feeling the passion. And then, nowadays, we're doing way better than we thought we would do, and we're doing it way faster than we thought we would do it.
Was there one show when you guys sort of got the vibe and you knew that it was going to work out? Was there one that comes to your mind?
Probably the day where Woody made the proclamation, that screw it, we're going to just do this our way, because, like I mentioned, management wanted us to play X amount of songs because that's how people get to know you, or we were doing a Craigslist Freak of the Week and it was too adult and we weren't being mindful of little ears, and we would respond with, this is not a show for kids, it's a show for adults. But keep in mind your listeners have kids and they're taking them to school. And we're like, well, they can change the station, and everything we did at every turn, if we said up, they said down. We said left, they would say right. And everything we did was questioned or scrutinized or analyzed. And so I remember this one day, I don't remember the date, but I remember the day that Woody said, you know what, F it, we're just doing it our way. And that's the way it's going to be. And that's when we started the whole hashtag all in, hashtag with us and all that. And we're like, screw it, we're doing our show because we've done it in the past. It did well in the past. It's going to do well again. We know it will. So let's just do it our way. And from that day forward, it kind of did a 180 where everything seemed to gel and work out, and, just did it the way we wanted to do it. And I think people love, actually, that we've made management like a character on the show that people love to hate. And everybody can relate to having a job they don't like, or having a day that there's a bad day at the office or whatever. So it's kind of cool to share those stories and, pull back the curtain and tell people what's going on. We told them that we are the low man on the totem pole, which is true. We told them that we're all ugly and compared to every other beautiful person in the building. Again, all true. So it kind of had that feeling from that day forward, like, you know what, screw it. We're just doing our own show, our own way. And it felt better from that moment forward.
What do you think of the listeners who get mad at you guys being edgy and outspoken? Why don't you think they just take the approach of just not listening? You know what I mean?
I do. I know what you mean. I think hate listening is just as powerful as love listening. You know, like if a guy that I used to work with in the Bay Area, a talk radio guy, always told me, you know, if you're going to do a talk show or a topic, anything, you never want a topic to be puppies are cute. Everybody thinks puppies are cute. That's boring. What more can you say about it? And you never want a 9-0 or a 0-9 Supreme Court ruling. You always want 5-4. So I think people listen when they hear something that upsets them or offends them or makes them pissed off, because kind of like from the movie Private Parts, you don't know what they're going to say next. And people that hate you and hate what you're talking about or hate an aspect of you, or in our case, you know, it's an ensemble show, they might absolutely hate me to the core, but they love Menace, or, you know, they love Ravy. She can do no wrong. And, you know, Woody's the master, but I'm the piece of crap that everybody hates. So they're still going to listen for other reasons. So why they don't change it, I don't know. But, I mean, we should be glad that they don't.
Now, how have the listeners embraced you guys in Los Angeles? How does it differ from the Bay Area back in the day?
You know, a lot of it in the beginning, it was, you know, it felt slow. Everybody told us when we started here, you know, give it 5, 10, sometimes 15 years just for people to know who you are. And LA is a different animal because in LA, the stars are actual stars. You know, you've got celebrities at restaurants. You got actual famous people walking around all over the place, and people won't give a rat's ass about radio people. They're not going to respond. They're not going to know who you are. They're not going to care. And the passion level that we had in San Francisco at the time, when we all got let go, we were number 2 in the market. And the passion up there, I thought, there's no way that'll ever be repeated. And then we came to LA, and as things progressed and took off, the more passionate people became and the more we recognized it at events and stuff. I think it's actually bigger than it was in San Francisco. We've gone to events down here where we you know, our goal is to meet absolutely everybody we can, say hi, try to get to know their names. You know, we respond to their texts, and we want people to know how much we appreciate them. So when we go to these events, we want to say hi to everybody and take pictures with everybody. And sometimes, you know, these events that we go to is 2 solid hours of just people in line just waiting to say hi or whatever. So we've witnessed the passion, and the reason that it's different from San Francisco is I think it's actually stronger than it was. It's actually bigger than it was up there, which to me, in a market like LA, is pretty shocking. It's absolutely awesome. I love it. It's great. It's way bigger than we thought it would be, and way faster. So, if anything, I think it's even bigger than it was before.
Now, you guys are in the second biggest market, so there's a ton of competition. How does it work? Do you guys ever get into radio wars with them, or are things pretty civil at the end of the day?
Well, within our building, things are more than civil. We actually sometimes team up with them. Like, we try to cross-promote, or, you know, like, we're totally friendly with Big Boy, or, you know, Val at MyFM, Ellen K down at Coast. We love her, and the feeling's mutual. So we never get in with them. As far as direct competitors, not in-house, we don't start things. People will let us know if somebody's imitating, you know, something we did first. But I mean, in my opinion, everybody has done something that they imitate. I mean, radio itself is an imitation, or everybody's doing a form of something that somebody else did first. But we will generally respond if we're antagonized or if somebody calls us out on something, but we'll definitely won't go out of our way to, you know, start some sort of radio war with another show, because I think I speak for everybody. It kind of shows that you're thinking about them. It kind of shows that you're worried about them, or it kind of seems like maybe you're obsessed about your competition, which you shouldn't be, and we're not. So if there's like a direct attack, sure, we'll do it, and it can be fun. But we're definitely not going to go out of our way to start something with somebody for a little radio war, because then it kind of gives them the thrill of, oh, look, other people are thinking about me, and, oh, I must have gotten under their skin because they're talking about me. And I can tell you, 100% real. Like when we're in the office, we're not talking about other shows and how can we go after our competition. We just we figure everybody is our competition, even the people we're friendly with. As Woody calls it, he has a scorched earth policy. When programmers make the mistake of asking, who are you going after? Who are you trying to beat? Well, the answer is everybody.
Now, you guys are doing so well in the 18 to 34 demographic. How good does that feel? Because people our age, because I'm 22, don't have a good attention span. So how did you guys approach that?
Do you think you don't have a good attention span?
Oh, not at all, dude. I actually have ADHD, so I'm off the wall, which is why I'm decent at radio. Oh, I'm a very hyper dude, man.
Really? Because you seem organized, you seem driven, you don't, your passion is there, your hunger is there. So it doesn't seem like you're the ADHD kind of guy.
Well, it's one of those things where I'm so focused on radio that I kind of come off laid back. But it's weird how when I'm doing the show, I give it my all and I'm focused, but then I'm in the car going from song to song, then I'm at home going from one show to another. It's weird how when you have passion for a thing, you give it your all, Greg?
Yeah, I do. I guess we're just lucky in the sense that I think that's a great question. Like, how do you keep somebody, an age range that generally, you're right, you jump around, or even when you're watching your favorite TV show, you get bored after like 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to our show, hopefully it's just that people, you don't really think about it when you're doing the show. But people really are listening, and people really are in the car on their way to work, or people are listening at home before they go to school, or whatever the case is. And you make a connection with them, and they almost feel like the day is not complete unless they're hanging out with, their friends. Kind of like the way you approach, Hoppe Hour. It's kind of like you're just hanging out with your friends, and you're not going to get up and walk out of the room when you're hanging out with your friends. Like right now, you're not going to just hang up the phone and walk away. You're going to stay engaged. So maybe, that's what the people feel when they're listening, is that, I'm hanging out with my friends, I have a connection to them, and I'm sticking with them, and my day doesn't feel right without them. I'm stoked people feel that way. I hope that's the reason why. But you're not kidding. I mean, the competition is fierce today, with not just with radio, but, you try to read a news story on a website and you get 8,000 pop-ups.
Yes.
And the screen goes up and down, and then another ad pops up, and then you have to watch a video just to continue reading the story. Like, everything is made for us to get sick and tired of it within 2 seconds. So having any sort of success in radio now is remarkable,
Now, with everything that happened over the weekend in Orlando, how did you guys approach it? Did you guys come in with a lot of prep, or did you take the whole thing where you guys just sort of do it on the fly? Because it was very real and it was very raw in the way that you guys were just like, everyone's going to have a different take. Let's all come together. So how did you guys get it all on air?
You know what? Again, I'm going to give all of that credit to Woody. In the morning, when we get there, we all get there at 4, and we basically sit in our office at our individual desks until 6. And you can basically hear a pin drop in those 2 hours. We barely talk in the morning. There's a lot of prep. There's a lot of writing. There's a lot of planning. But we all know what we have to do. Like Ravi's busy writing up the crap on celebrities. Menace is doing social media stuff. I'm rewriting news stories or trying to find odd news stories for Woody to use later. He's putting together the schedule and how to map out the show. So there's very, very little communication as far as, all right, guys, so here's what we're going to do today. Here's how we're going to handle the Orlando thing. We didn't even talk about it, to be honest with you. We were basically quiet for 2 hours today. We went into the studio at 6. Woody opened up the mics after playing Imagine from John Lennon, which I thought was appropriate, which I didn't know he was going to do. A lot of times we don't even know what Woody's going to do, and we just kind of follow his lead. And I thought the way he updated people on a story they already knew about, I thought was good. The pacing was good. Giving everybody 30 seconds to share their feelings, I thought was great because, like I said earlier, there's no right or wrong opinion about this. I mean, we all have our opinions about it, if somebody had an answer, we would probably go with that answer. But what's the answer to preventing psychopaths from killing people in a free world? In a truly free world, the sad truth is it probably cannot be prevented. So how do you translate that into a radio show? Let people just say what they want to say, kind of have that feeling of catharsis, and move on. We did have something planned because, yesterday was LA Pride, and our executive producer, Seabass, had a hilarious game plan that we had planned on Friday. We were talking about this after the show on Friday, and we were laughing our asses off. And it's fun, it's funny, it's sexual, it's not for little ears, as managers call it. But today wouldn't have been the day to do it. It would have been, it would have been completely, I don't know, out of character for us to do something that, like, it wouldn't be out of character to run that bit, and we are going to run that bit. But today would have been wrong. Like, I was driving home from work today, and I was flipping channels, and I heard "Killing in the Name of" by Rage Against the Machine. And even that, and I'm not one to take offense to much of anything. Even that, I thought, oh, this is kind of weird hearing this today. I wasn't offended. I hate that word offended, by the way. It's so overused. But it made me think twice. I'm like, "Killing in the Name of" today? Like, this just felt wrong. So we did completely go off plan today because of what happened over the weekend. That's my 10-minute answer to your question.
Now, as a gay man, what is your thought overall about this? Because even though I'm not gay, it hits home just because it's so sad to think that it could happen to anybody at any club. So when you heard about it, what was the thought that went through your head, Greg?
I don't even know if I take the explanation at face value. They said that this psychopath went and did what he did and murdered 49 people because he saw two men kissing a month ago and it angered him. I don't fully buy that. I really, really don't. If anything, if I'm going to get way base about it, he was probably battling homosexual tendencies. He was. Himself.
There was a bunch of rumors that he was using the app of Grindr, and he also was a very frequent guest at a club who claimed that he hated his dad. So it's on Gawker right now. It hasn't broke the news cycle, but it's sort of seeming like he was a closet gay man.
And does any straight man take that many selfies trying to look all cool? No. Do you spend your time taking selfies trying to look awesome? No. I can tell you, though, gay men do. I don't because I'm gross. But, my theory is that, like, he's was battling his own desires. If his motive was because two men are kissing, then let's just take that as truth. If that was why he did what he did, then it enrages me because, people always call it a choice or a lifestyle, your gay lifestyle choice. If you had a choice between, the Autobahn, a smooth paved highway where you can drive 120 miles an hour, or a steep, curvy, unpaved, rocky road where at every turn you're going to be called names, you're going to be belittled, you're going to be questioned, you're going to be called names, you're going to be called a pedophile. People are going to think that you're freaky. They're going to question your lifestyle choice, which is another term I hate. What do you think most people are going to choose? And for some reason, that's what hit me the hardest today was like, there are so many people in the world that think this is a choice, and they're mad at these guys as choices for living the way that they choose to live. And to that, I would just say, F you. You're the ones with the problems. If you have a problem with that, why are you so obsessed with it? I don't like butterflies. I don't go to butterfly enclosures and start screaming at the butterflies. If you don't like zoos, you don't go to the zoo. You don't go out of your way the way that these, homophobes do, and murdering people. You just go about your life. And, that's the thing that really hit home for me was, all the thinking about the people that think this is a choice, and people who are out just to celebrate who they are. on Pride weekend, and this is what is the result of it. And all that on top of the fact that when you pledge allegiance to ISIS, they're nothing but a bunch of goat effers anyway. So you're offended by two men, but not a man effing a goat? Give me a break, So screw that. Looking at goats, just going, oh God damn, that's hot, But two men, oh no, we gotta execute that. So.
How hard was it for you to come out gay? Because you hear that there's times where it's easy and everybody embraces it, and then you hear times that they just got denied by their friends and family. So for you, Greg, how was it for you when you came out?
It was really, really hard initially. It's such a cliche, but when you look back and you see all these ads, oh, it gets better. It does get better, and all those cliches are true. But when you're going through it at the time, it's super, super hard. I was married for 8 years to a woman who, to this day, is my best friend. And when I phrase it this way, it sounds pretty homophobic, but I thought that she had, quote, cured me, because I thought, okay, she's my best friend. We have so much in common. We have a physical relationship. I'm in love with her. If I marry her, I can just forget the fact, that I'm gay and that I don't need to live the life I'm supposed to live because I've been cured, and then, you fast forward 8 years through marriage and you realize that it just chips away at you and it's not the life you're supposed to be living. And that's when it got hard. And then getting a divorce was difficult. And then the hardest thing, Ryan, that I ever did in my whole life was to come out to she wasn't even my ex-wife at the time. We were just separated. That was the hardest thing I'd ever done. And to be brutally honest, I told her, while crying, of course, and I told her, I said, if you want to kill me, I give you permission to kill me. That's how paranoid I was. I thought she would want to kill me. And I told her, you can if you want to. And she was almost relieved because the last few years of the marriage were not great. And she was almost relieved because she said, I thought it was me. I'm glad I did nothing wrong. I'm like, no, you did nothing wrong. To this day, we're best friends, and then coming out to my parents was tough. My dad didn't talk to me for several months, but then has since come around. And the weird thing was that at that time in my life, I was unemployed. There was a 2-year stretch that I was unemployed and just working random part-time jobs at radio stations in San Jose, nothing full-time, nothing that merited talking about my personal life when I was just doing music shifts. So I hadn't come out publicly. I had been at a station up in San Francisco at Live 105 for 16 years. Never once coming out publicly, so that was weird. And then when I got a full-time job doing mornings at K-Fog, something just hit me. I'm like, why am I not talking about this? If a topic came up that somehow related to being gay or whatever, I kind of kept my mouth shut. And then one day I'm like, F it. I just said it. And then people were calling in like, oh, I never knew you were gay. That's weird. I've heard you on the radio for 15 years. I didn't know you were gay. And then now, here I am, I don't know how many years later, 10, 12 years later. And I'm thinking like, God, if I could take the younger me and shake him and just say, if you're gay, you're gay. Who cares? Because frankly, nobody cares. And that's what rules about today. Obviously, there's psychopaths in the world that do care and want to kill you for it. But most of the world doesn't care. And it's so great because who cares, Yeah. You're just living your life.
What I like about you, Greg, is you're very honest and you always say it like it is. So if people want to hear you every morning on The Woody Show, where can they find it?
That would be Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 on Alt 98.7 in L.A., but you can also get it on iHeartRadio. And we put the podcast up every day. We run a rerun on Saturday mornings, so like a best-of type show. And then search The Woody Show. So if you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, it's just The Woody Show, one word. And Menace is a genius at keeping people posted on where to find us, where we're going to be, what events we're doing, the podcast, just all of it. So it's just The Woody Show, one word. And, we're not going to rest until you can't not find us.
Well, dude, keep up the good work. I love that even in 2016, where we are offended by everything, you guys have gone with the course, and you guys have one of the best morning shows out there. The key has just been you guys come off so real and so humble. So keep up the good work, Greg.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. You know what my answer to when somebody tells you they're offended?
What?
And I want this to take over the nation. When somebody says, "Oh, I can't believe you said that. I'm offended." My answer is just answer them with "and." Just say "and" with a question mark.
That's perfect.
What the hell else are you supposed? Okay, you're offended. And okay, great. What's for dinner? You don't have to apologize. You don't have to justify. You don't have to rationalize. Just say "and." That's it.
I love that, dude. Everybody should take that approach. So keep up the good work and keep doing your thing because you guys kick ass.
You do too, Ryan. Thank you so much, and stay hungry because you're far more focused than I am, even with your ADHD.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, Greg.
All right. You too. Take care, bud.
All right, bye.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.